Hey everyone, Greg here, and today we're going to go over my case study on how I drove 32% more leads to the Knights of Columbus out in Westboro, Massachusetts using SEO. So this is a snapshot from Google Analytics, and it shows from 2014 through 2013, 45% more sessions, 32% more leads. And just some backstory context, I worked on this for 2 years. I rebuilt the site using Dreamweaver. And I installed all the tracking, analytics, Search Console, Bing Webmaster Tools, and really this case study is a comp against my own work that I did my first year. So when you include channels like direct, referral, any phone leads, and also organic traffic, I drove about $75,000 worth of leads that first year, and in the second year, $100,000. So just a little more context, a lead at a minimum is worth $300. That just means that you rent the hall for $300. That does not include anything else that comes out of it. So if you have, let's say, a bar for your event, it's going to be a lot more than $300, but we're going to use $300 as the baseline. The big part also on what I worked on was referral, so finding relevant sites that could also send traffic back to the Knights of Columbus website. Actually resulted in about 20% of the total leads to the website, and I'll get into that a little bit later. Here's just a snapshot of tracking leads every month. So I mentioned again, each lead at a minimum was worth $300. So the second year, 2014, had about just around $97,000, or basically $100,000 worth in leads. So who am I before I get into what I was able to do? My name is Greg, and I've been in this field for 7 years. I worked at a digital agency, working on the organic side of that. I worked in-house at a startup, again working on organic search. And then I spent some time at Microsoft as an account coordinator with the Bing Ads platform, so learning a little bit about paid search. And now today I'm the owner of TM Blast. So here's the blueprint on what I did to basically get this 32% increase. 3 things. So first is making sure that across the web, the listings were correct. Things like making sure that the phone number on Yelp and Foursquare and Google My Business were all correct. Second is finding those relevant backlinks to actually get for your site. So places like the Knot, Yelp, Event Space, etc. These are places that will have a link back to the Knights of Columbus site that actually drove traffic and also conversions. And then finally, being found on Google and Bing Maps. So here's a snapshot from Moz Local, and this is one of the first things I'm going to look at if you are a local business, just making sure that across the web, how are you listed? This was actually the first thing that I tackled, because for the Knights, for example, if you went on Yelp and you went on Facebook and you went on Super Pages and Hot Frog, there were different hours, there were different phone numbers that people who were not even part of the Knights anymore. You can imagine the loss in terms of leads just from that. So centralizing all of this was a really big first step. And then here's the example with Google My Business. I started to populate pictures very early on. I did this because I wanted to show that we have an active profile really for this organization, and by doing that we were able to get people to naturally post pictures of their event and also leave reviews, and reviews and pictures gets us more authoritative within Google. So someone who does a brand search like Knights of Columbus Westboro MA, Google's going to show that 3.9% out of 5 rating out of 24 Google reviews. Now, I mentioned that it's also about getting the right backlinks. So the Knot, for example, is a place that a lot of people go to, looking for wedding reception halls, and since it was always coming up for all these terms that we were also going after, getting featured on this drove relevant traffic back to the Knights of Columbus website and drove actual leads. It also passed SEO Value as well, so you don't need to worry too much about what these numbers mean, but having backlinks that are relevant, that drive traffic, also pass something called SEO Value. And SEO Value passed to your website just makes you a bit more authoritative in Google and Bing's eyes. So for terms like party hall, Westboro, or wedding reception hall, we were able to organically rank more competitively. So we're not paying for these clicks, but we're organically being seen at the top for a lot of these terms, which just drives more traffic, and then by driving more traffic, we're driving more leads. It just kind of builds off each other. A big thing is Google Maps. So getting featured and getting placed for a lot of those terms like hall rental, Westboro, or hall rental near me, etc. Getting on Google Maps was a pretty big deal because people who were in surrounding towns or even bigger cities who were looking for maybe like a more affordable place to host their event, we were able to be featured pretty much at the top. And you can actually see this right here, that for this example term, we were the top listing right there. And then also with Bing, same thing too, just making sure that however our audience is searching, we're going to show up within the maps. So here's the conclusion of this. SEO takes a long time. I worked on this for 2 years, included building a brand new website, installing the tracking, the keyword research, even adding more elements to like pictures, creating a video, creating a lot of content, finding the relationships online to build natural links. It was a whole process, but the process really paid off because there was no spend in terms of driving any leads back to the business. So every time we would get any traffic or any leads from a phone call or form fill, it was all natural. It was all part of the SEO strategy that I worked on. So thank you very much for watching this video. Please let me know if you have any questions, and thank you very much for watching. Have a good day.